Are you a traditional artist thinking of streaming your work? Maybe you already stream, but you just can't get the colors to look right on screen. In this video, I will help you set up your stream and how to properly reproduce colors on screen so that your work can shine for everyone to see. I'll break this up into chapters so that you can more easily refer back to them if you need to. First, we'll start off by downloading and installing OBS. OBS is the Open Broadcaster software, and it's a free software that you can use to stream to Twitch, YouTube, and to other services as well. For the sake of this video though, I will focus on streaming to Twitch using a Windows system because that's what I have. Everything should work just about the same on Mac, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't have a Mac to verify, nor do I have a Linux system either. But again, it should be the same, just changing how things are installed or whatnot. We'll head on over to the website, and again, links are in the description, and you can download the version that suits your system. Mine will be Windows, so I will click on Windows, and it'll automatically start downloading your file. Once you download your file, you can install it, and I already did it. So this is what you get when you install it, and then you can double click it, and you'll be greeted with this window. When you first run it, I ran it before, you'll have this window pop up here. You can just cancel it because we're going to use our own settings to set up the stream. You're going to have to go to settings. You can either go to settings by clicking on the button down here, or you can go to file and settings. Same way, either way you can do it. I like to go to settings by clicking on the button here. Then this will pop up. Here, what you have to worry about is going to be the stream setup, the output, and I'll show you what to do. So in the stream, again, you can have different services to stream to. We're going to do Twitch. You can connect to your account here automatically, type in your credentials. Then I have it set up for the two-step verification, so I have an authorization code on my phone, and you should do the same if you want to protect your account because you don't know who's going to hack onto your system any time. Then click on remember this computer for 30 days just because you don't have to re-log in every time. And it lasts longer than 30 days, but every now and then you'll notice that your stream has like crappy connection or it just doesn't work right. It might be because you have to re-log into Twitch. Otherwise, it'll be fine. So submit, it'll do all this thing, and then that's it for now. So we can leave it at that. The Twitch add-ons you can have here, Better TTV and Franker Face C. These are for additional emotes on chat. I usually put the Better TTV and Franklin both together. That way it just kind of like displays any extra emotes that people might have. Now on the output here, you're going to have to click on the drop-down menu on the output mode on the top and select advanced. On this settings area right here, streaming settings, make sure that you have Twitch VOD track checked and leave it at number 2, and that's fine. This is just so that we can tell OBS what to include in the saved VODs on Twitch. A VOD is just a recording that Twitch stores temporarily on their server that people can watch after you're done streaming, and you can determine what soundtrack, like this is a track, which soundtrack will be included with that video on demand on Twitch. And one of the reasons why you might want to do this is because if you, like me, listen to regular music, you know, like on Spotify, this will prevent you from getting the MCA strike through your VOD, or sometimes it just mutes the VOD, and then people that want to watch it later, they won't have any sound to listen to while they watch the video. So if you're talking and you have not specified which track you want to use for your VOD, everything's going to be put into the same track. Then the system in Twitch is going to find that you have a copyrighted track and it'll mute the entire video, including your voice. So we'll leave it at that for the VODs. For the video encoder, you're going to want to use the H.264. I have an NVIDIA card, so I use the NVIDIA variant. You can use AMD if you have AMD, or Intel. I don't know if it shows up differently. The point is that just make sure that you have H.264 to correspond with your video card. Over here in the bitrate for the encoder, this has to do with the video quality of your stream. 2500 is fine for art streams because there's nothing too quick going on screen that will require higher bitrate. But if you want to have a more crisp video, I would put it a bit higher. I'd run mine at 8000 because I also stream games every now and then, and 8000 kilobits per second would be better suited for the quick actions of video game. But for now, for us, we can just set it up to a 6000 and that would be fine for art streaming. For the audio tab, we're going to select our microphone. My microphone, it's going through a Scarlett Focusrite USB interface, and it shows up as this analog 1+2 thing. So whatever your microphone is called, just select it from the drop down menu, and that would be it for that one. On the video tab, it has the base canvas, which is the resolution for the video when you want to do like local recordings. And then the output resolution is what you send over to Twitch. If you have a slow connection, maybe you want to keep it at 720, if not lower, depending on how fast your internet is. But if not, I just like to put it at 1080p because that's the best looking resolution for your stream. So once that's done, you'll be fine. And then click on apply. And since we logged into Twitch, Twitch automatically populates these two panels. This is the one that you will use to change the details of your stream. Since I've been streaming, it keeps whatever I had from last stream that I did. And here you put your title for your stream, whatever you might be doing. The notification, this is a message that people will get when you go live. So you should put like a question, you know, something that you can come up with or whatever. Or you can push it like, oh, come and say hi to me, I'm live, whatever you want. The category will be empty. So you can click and start typing art and it'll give you this one. You click on it and it'll just stay there. Audience, everyone, or subscriber only. When you have subscribers, you can do streams that are only for them and not your followers. I've never done it. I've always kept it up for everybody, and that's how most people that I follow do it. Your tags here is just to describe your stream more so than your work. So mine is a safe space. I talk about video games, chilling with chat, because we do sometimes just hang out with chat and just talk. The language that I predominantly speak on, traditional art, and digital art. I do both of them. Sometimes I do game development, but I'm gonna take that one out actually because I haven't done it in a while. So this is just to describe your stream space more so than your work. This is kind of like a floating window, but you can put it on the side if you want to. That's how I have it. And then you can resize it to make it look better. Whenever you update any of this, you should always have to click on update, done. That way it successfully updated information. Otherwise, it won't change the name. And if you stream, different things on every day, and you don't click done, the stream will always have the same stream name and information. On this side, this is the chat. The chat window will give you this one, the chat and events beta. I like it. I recommend upgrading now. And what this one will do is that this panel gives you both the chat and the events on your stream. So when somebody follows you, when somebody resubs to you, it'll show up here. If you have another like a TTS add-on, but if you have anything that happens on your stream that affects your stream, all that will be displayed here. like raids, people following you, subscriptions and whatnot, they all show up here so you can see what's going on. On this window over here, it'll be what people say. So hello, just for testing. So you'll have your chat show up here. There are other ways to have chat on your computer than just this, but for now you can just keep it with this and it'll be fine. You can also put it on the side if you want to, and then resize it over here, and then it'll look better. And you can move all these together however you want, but you can play around with them. You can also hold them on top of each other, and then it'll merge them into one single thing. So if you're not using the transition scene thing, then you can just put it underneath the audio mixer. And if you want to take it out, just take it out and put it back where it was. And that's it for this. For the camera setup, camera for us traditional artists is going to be paramount. You don't necessarily have to go with a very expensive camera, but you do need decent camera to capture what you're working on. So you can use a webcam like the Anker C200, which is one that I'm using. You can use a DSLR if you have one, or a mirrorless camera that have a clean HDMI output. They usually have an option if they're able to do that, because if you don't have a clean HDMI output, what you'll have is going to be the same image that you get on the back of your camera that has all the little settings like ISO and f-stop and all that. It'll also show on your stream, and you don't want that when you're streaming. So make sure that you can have clean HDMI output, and if you don't have that, then you can also use your phone, and I'll show you how to use your phone for your camera. All right, so I'm gonna show you how to use your iPhone. I don't have an Android phone, so I can't see how that would work on the Android phones, but I can show you how to do it on iOS. And it's a free software on both ends, even if you use Android phone. But again, I don't know how that works because I don't have one. You can look up Epoch Cam app on your iPhone, obviously. It's an Elgato app. It's $7.99 if you want to have the pro version. If you don't want to have the pro version, there is a free version that you can download. and that's the one that I have. The only caveat with the free version is that you will get a little watermark in the middle, and I'll show you what that looks like when we get to the OBS settings, but it's a good way to use the camera from your phone. This one works both wirelessly and with a USB cable. Sometimes it's kind of finicky with the Wi-Fi, at least for me. So if you want to prevent any sort of like disconnection, use it with a USB cable, and then that way it'll always be connected to the computer. Once you have that downloaded on your phone, you're going to need the Elgato camera hub on your computer in order for the phone to be registered as a camera on OBS. And I'll show you that in a little bit. And also these links are going to be put on the description. So let me show you what it looks like for the iPhone. All right, so here's my iPhone screen, and I'll show you the Epoch cam. So this is my Epoch camera here. That's Epoch. When you launch it first, it'll ask you a couple of questions like, oh, how do you want to connect to your computer and whatnot. But you see that when you turn it sideways, right? Or either way when it was vertical, but that little Elgato logo on the bottom of the screen, that's what the free version has that you remove when you buy the pro version. But that's what it looks like on the phone. And when you get started, it'll have these little steps to follow. It'll ask you to let it connect through Wi-Fi, and access local network, access camera allowed, and then you click done, and that'll be fine for the app. So once you download this and you install it, this is what the app will look like. So here it is. This is the app. Oh, the preview is disabled right now. So the cool thing about this app is that you can disable your preview, and that will save resources on your computer. That way you don't have to worry about slowing down your stream or anything else. So you can see how it looks like, set up your settings here, make sure that everything's good and how you like it. We're not going to touch anything here. I was just playing around with it, but you don't touch any of this over here, not exposure, nothing. You just want the raw footage from your camera over to the OBS. And another cool thing about this is that the camera app on your phone will dim the phone screen eventually, and it'll look like it's off, but it's not. It's just making it so that your phone doesn't use that much battery and it doesn't overheat as well when you're using the camera. So this is what it will look like when you are using the Epoch cam through the Elgato software. So now back to OBS. Bloom. We're here in OBS, and we're going to set up our scenes. Scenes are like a collection of sources in one single package. And what I mean by that is you have like here the scene. This is one scene. OBS already comes with a pre-made scene. You can leave it named scene, which I wouldn't do because you don't know what's in there. But if you want to rename it, you right click on it, click rename, and I'm going to name this intro. I would suggest and recommend that you have at least 2 scenes. One called intro, where you will have like a starting soon a message on screen, because Twitch usually runs ads in the beginning of every stream, and the ads go up to about 3 minutes at a time. If you have a starting soon screen on your stream, it will allow those ads to play without having anything going on that your chat will miss out on. I usually leave my intro screen for about 3 minutes or 5 minutes. This thing actually tells you when the ads are done with, so you can just keep an eye here, but it'll show you how much time left until the ads are done. And at that point, you can switch over to the scene where you have your camera showing your artwork. So we're gonna name this intro. I'm gonna add my intro, and my intro is a video that I made on Blender. And you can use an image if you want to, but if you're using a video like me, add a media source as the source for the video, or if not, you just use image if you're just using a single image. So I'm gonna click on media source, name it intro loop, because it is a looping video that I made. Click OK, make source visible, that way when it gets added here, it'll be active. Click OK, and it'll be very similar for an image. You're still gonna have to go click on browse and find where your video is at. Now if I can find mine, that'd be hot. So this is my video that I made, so I click OK. And then make sure that you have loop, because mine is looping. Again, if you have an image, you don't have to worry about this, but if you have a looping video, click on loop. Restart playback when the source becomes active. Make sure that's also clicked, and that's it. You click OK, and there's my intro video for my stream. See, it has like starting soon going on here, so it kind of fades around, back and forth. And again, this one I made it on Blender. I usually do lock it in, the way you can't move it. If you don't lock it, you can move it around, and you don't want that. So that would be it for my intro screen. And then now we're going to make another scene, which is going to be where you're going to have all your art displayed. So now we're going to create a new scene. This one I'm going to call it art. You can call it whatever you want, but I'm going to call it art scene, so we know that this is the scene where you can see my artwork. And hit enter or click OK. Now you notice that the video stopped. So that's how you switch scenes. You just click on from one to another. So when you have the ads over, and again it'll show up on the little window here, when that's over you can click from the intro to the art scene and it'll automatically transition to your art scene. The way that it transitions is set up by this transitions panel. Yeah, you have fade or cut. I like fade because it just fades from one to another. You can get fancier later on, but for now fade is just fine. So here we're going to add the camera, and the camera again will be dependent on what you are using: phone, DSLR, mirrorless, webcam, what have you. But you're going to select video capture device. Name this whatever you like. I usually name mine the model of the camera. I'm using an Anker C200, so just name it Anker and then hit enter. It shows up here. It automatically defaults to Elgato. If you're using Elgato, then you're set, you're good to go. But if not, just pick which camera you're using from your drop down menu. Again, mine is the Anker. That's what it looks like. Hello, how's it going? All these you can just leave them default. The only thing you have to get familiarized with if you're using a webcam is the configure video button. This one will pop up this other screen here, and anything here, just leave it as this, because again, anything that you can adjust from here, we're going to take care of it later in the video, and you're not going to have to fiddle with this anymore after that. This here, I personally don't like audio exposure. It always defaults to auto exposure. I put it to -8 because that's what it works better for my setup that I have. I know it's always -8 or -9 depending on how bright it is, but that's what I set it up for manually. Focus, you're gonna have to do it by yourself to make sure that whatever you're showing here, it's in focus, so you can see like the buttons here. You can clearly read the letters on the controller, so you can kind of move around with it. And then the zoom, I click on it just to reset it to where it was, because once you find the level of zoom that you want, it'll stay there, but it gets reset every time you start OBS. So you don't have to redo it again. Just click on the little thing, and then the camera will zoom back down to where it was. And that's it. And you click OK, you're good. Click OK here. Depending on your camera resolution, the resolution of this camera is 2K. You're gonna notice that it's too big for the screen. And to fix that, you just make it smaller, drag the little corners, and then you move the camera again, and then it'll snap to when you have the corner to the edge of the screen, and then you resize it back to cover the full picture. Again, lock it, that way you don't have to move it again. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like when you have the Elgato. So for some reason it doesn't want to work on my tutorial version of OBS. On mine, what I have here, there's a lot more chaos going on than you will need to worry about. But just to show you how it looks like when you have the Epoch Cam app open on your computer, this is how it looks like. Then you see the logo looks distracting. That's the only like caveat with the free version of the app. That's my script. But if you want to kind of get creative with it, you can just put your logo on top of it. I'm gonna use my logo that I have with. I have to update it, but and you can use your logo, kind of resize it, and then cover it with logo. It's not ideal, but it's one way to not have to worry about having a watermark on the Epoch free app. You can still kind of choose to work up here. But if you want to pay again the $7.99, you can get rid of it, and that works hunky-dory. All right, back to the not so complicated OBS. Nice, so here we are back again on the tutorial screen. I don't know why I couldn't get it to work on this OBS, but whatever. Anyway, point is that this is what it looks like when you have it set up with your computer, with your camera. So now we're gonna set up the audio. Right away, you can see that you have a desktop audio. You don't want to have desktop audio because the desktop audio will transmit anything that goes on your PC. Alerts, music, web browser, whatever. It'll all be transferred into the stream via the desktop audio. Not advisable, and I don't recommend it. So mute it and hide it. And now we just have the microphone. The microphone is the one that we picked on the settings right here. So you have the microphone set up, and if you are going to be listening to music on stream, like for example using Spotify, YouTube Music, maybe a website like Bandcamp or any other source for your music while you're streaming, then what you're going to want to do is add a application audio capture. This one you can name it whatever you like. I'm going to name it Spotify because I will be using Spotify to stream with music. Hit enter. In the window is where you're going to have to pick the application that you're going to be using for music. Spotify is not open, so it's not going to show up there, but that's fine. You can just click OK for now. I'm going to open up Spotify. Spotify opens up. It's all hunky-dory. Now we go back to the Spotify audio, double click it, drop down menu, Spotify shows up here, click OK, and now you have Spotify playing on your stream. And you can adjust the volume. I also like to have it in vertical layout, but I have it on the top. Anyways, but you can have it how you want, vertical or horizontal, whatever floats your boat, doesn't matter, just use what's more comfortable for you. And that's how you set up the audio for anything. So if you had to been, for example, let's pull up SoundCloud, right? SoundCloud, you go to SoundCloud. So then this would be SoundCloud browser. So on your OBS, you double click it. So see, Firefox.exe, stream and listen to music with SoundCloud. So you click that, and now instead of Spotify being the source of music, it'll be SoundCloud, or again, whatever you chose to have it as. And you can name it accordingly. I just again named it Spotify because I use Spotify to listen to music while I stream. Now we're gonna go here to the little gears on the bottom, and you can have this show up. This window shows anything that will have audio with audio transmission. So the desktop audio that we had, uncheck all of them. You don't want any of that. The anchor is my camera. The camera also has a microphone, but I don't need that. The microphone, it's what we talked through. So for this one, I'm gonna uncheck everything but track number 2, because that's the one that we have already specified on the settings. That is gonna be our VOD track. So I want my voice to be recorded with the video when Twitch saves it on their server. For the music, well, that's 3. For the music, we want to get rid of everything, but no, we have to get everything but one channel. I'm gonna leave it on channel 3 because the track number 3 is not gonna go to the VOD, but it's still gonna be transmitted to the stream. And also, if you do recordings, like video recordings, the video will have multiple audio tracks as well that will carry over to your video editing software. So 2 for my microphone, 3 for my music, and that way I can guarantee that the music is not gonna be saved on the VOD, and that saves me from having the risk of having a DMCA takedown on my channel because I had copyright music on the VOD. And also, if you have copyright music on the VOD, then Twitch mutes your video, and when people want to watch your past stream, they'll just see the video, but there won't be any sound because it got muted due to copyright material. So that's done. Click close, and audio is set up. Bum-ba-da-dam. Fantastic. So now we're gonna need DaVinci Resolve for a color correction to your camera. So go to DaVinci Resolve, which is right here. You're going to click on login, and you're gonna make an account. After you make the account, log in, you'll be able to download DaVinci Resolve. So let me log in. Right, so once you log in and you click, you're in here, you're gonna click on DaVinci Resolve. You're gonna scroll down. You're gonna pick the version for your desired OS, Mac, Windows, Linux, and even iPad. But we need the one for Windows or Mac, whichever one you're using. Yeah? So I need Windows. I'm gonna download it. You're gonna get a zip file. When you unzip it, you're gonna get eat.exe. You double click it, and it'll take you through the steps to install it. And once you install it, open up DaVinci Resolve. You'll get greeted with a little screen. Yours won't have all this, but you'll have an untitled project and then just empty space. And you can leave it like that for now because now we have to go back to OBS. This is where we're gonna color correct our footage. So when you are streaming art, I'm pretty sure you already know, but make sure that you have ample lighting so you can see what's going on your piece. And the more light you have, the better, because if you have little light, then your video will look grainy. Better quality image with more light. And we're gonna record with OBS. So I'll show you how to do that. But before that, make sure that you have some sort of like artwork on your in frame that you want to color correct to. I'm gonna put a one with color that is just it here. And I'm gonna put a black and white paper one because I also work a lot on black paper. And I also recommend having some sort of just white paper somewhere in the frame, because that way you can have a reference for a white balance. So it's like a very messy shot, but doesn't matter because all we want to do is just make sure that we have colors. We have my black and white work and just a piece of white paper because I need white balance. So all we need to do now is, well, go to settings. On output, you're going to go to recording and you're going to save your videos wherever you want to have them saved at. I have mine on my videos folder, so you can click on browse, pick wherever you want to have it on, and then you open up that folder you want to be in, and then you click select folder. So let's say if I wanted to have it on audio, you know, double click it and then select folder, but mine's already on video, so I'm gonna leave it like that. MKV is a good video format because even if you were recording something longer, like you were making a time-lapse video and your computer crashes, MKV will stop the recording at the time of crashing and you won't lose the footage because it can be continued later, or you know, it'll save it for you. So just leave everything else as is, and once you have that done, click OK, and then we're going to record about like 5-10 seconds of just this. You know, you can also have your hand on in the frame, the way you can also color correct to your skin tone, but make sure that when you record during the day, it's going to be at the same time or around the same time that you would be streaming. So for example, I stream during the afternoon, so I have some light coming from this direction from my window. So there's a window over there, and then there's like light coming from the window to my piece, and then I have a softbox on the top that also has lighting illuminating my surface. So make sure to recreate the environment that you will be streaming under so that your colors can look correct every time that you stream at the same time. You know, which is good to have a schedule because that way you can have the same lighting setup. So again, now click on start recording, and at the bottom here you can see the time that has elapsed. Again, like 5-10 seconds is fine, wouldn't be more than that. And then you click on stop. So now you stop the recording. It'll say here, you know, recorded saved wherever you wanted it saved. It has the date as the name of the file, which is fine. We don't really care about that. And then we go back to DaVinci Resolve, and here you double click on the untitled project and it'll bring you to this screen. Then you're going to navigate to where you have your video. Mine was in videos, and you know, all this crap, it's just from me, you know, don't worry about it. So here is the one that we just recorded, and then this one we're going to drag it onto the software itself. You let it go, you're going to get this pop-up, you're going to click change. Now you have your video, and now we have to go to where OBS has a file called a LUT, L-U-T. I don't know what it means. I don't know what LUT means, but it's something with light. But the point is that the LUT tells your camera how to treat colors and how to reproduce them for the screen. If you installed OBS in the default path, in the default setting, all you have to do is to go to your C drive, program files, scroll down to OBS Studio, double click that. Then you go to data, double click that. Then you go to plugins, double click that. Then you go to filters, double click that. And then finally you have LUTs. So you double click that. And we're going to be looking for original.png. Again, you're not going to have all of the, so you have some of these, but not all of them as much as mine because I made mine already. See here. So now you're going to click and drag original.png, same way that you did with the video, and you're going to release it here. Now we click onto DaVinci Resolve. Keep the folder open because we're going to need it later, so don't close this one, just minimize it or click onto the DaVinci so it can go away. And then you're going to click on edit on the bottom right here, edit, and you're going to drag your video to the timeline, and then you're going to drag the original.png to the timeline right next to it. It'll snap together, so you have both the video and the PNG file, right? So now with the cursor, this little cursor on the video, we're going to go to color, and then you can see a preview of the video that we created, and it has a little note here. You don't have to worry about that. But what we do here is now we can start color correcting with this bottom right, bottom left corner right here. So this is all the controls that you can do. I would not do saturation because saturation just ruins colors in my opinion. But you can add a bit more contrast if you want, or take it out. So what I do though is the gain, put it up a little bit, play around with the offset, and you can see what's going on too. Like I'm making it darker here. And then you can color boost. You can boost the colors there. Boom. So now you're getting a more vivid color. If If you want to do color white balance, click on the dropper here and click on the white. Now we have color balance, white balanced colors. So now they look more natural. And if you want to see what changes we made, there's a little icon here in the top, and you can just click it to toggle the raw footage with how it looks now. And you can see this, it looks a lot better now. So you go from very washed out to a lot more vivid, and the black looks black, white looks black, because again we had the little white paper here to provide us with a neutral white for white balance reference. And after that, you can just kind of mess around with the dials to see what suits you better. So if you want to like get more brightness, well, a brighter image without adjusting the brightness, because if you adjust brightness, you will make it more washed out image rather than any better. So, but if you adjust the gain just amplifies the lighting rather than making the image lighter. I don't know if it makes sense, but gain is better than brightness. Offset, I put it down a bit so we can kind of darken the shadows. And you have more stuff here that you can play around with, you know, whatever you feel comfortable manipulating, you can do. You can even manipulate the curve here. So if you want to put it lower, then you move it up, you know, kind of like adjust however you want. And now you can see much better than before. Okay. So now with that done, let's say that's my edit, and even look, see my hand doesn't look bad. It just looks like a regular skin tone. You're gonna click on the image on the PNG file over here. You click it once. And then with the middle mouse button on your mouse, or the wheel, you click on it. Or click on the previous one. So click on the PNG so you can see it here. And then you're gonna hover over the video and you're gonna middle click on that. And then that turned this into like a little rainbow icon. I don't know if you noticed that. See, like right now here, it's very gray. But if you click on, do the middle click on the image of the video, it makes it rainbow. So that applied every change that we made to the video, it applied it to the PNG file. And again, you can toggle it so you can see the image change. All right, so now what we want to do is we're going to go to the bottom of the screen. There's the little gear. You're going to click the gear and you're going to change this to 512 by 512. That's the original size of the PNG file. And since we want to make a new one, we have to make it at the correct size. And then you hit save. Now it became little. And then you're going to right click on this and select grab still. Once you grab the still, it'll pop up over here and it'll give you still image, a still frame from this. And you're going to right click on it. And then you're going to go export. And we're going to export it on the desktop. I'm going to call this, anchor LUT, and then I'm going to put the month and year. So it's July, so 07 2024. That way I know when I made it. When I click export, boom, it exported. So now we're done. You can minimize this or close it, minimize that, and then you're going to have the new LUT here. So now this is the folder where we got the original from. We're going to click and drag the new one and drop it here. You're gonna get this destination folder access denied, just because it's like a settings folder that Windows wants to protect. You just click continue to allow you to put it in there. It'll show up here. Boom. See, that's a new one. And now we go back to OBS, to your camera. You're gonna right click it, and then it's gonna say filters. When you click on filters, you're gonna have this window here pop up, and on the effects filter panel on the bottom, you're gonna click on the plus sign, and then you'll find apply LUT. And we just made a LUT. So you click that, you can just leave it as applied LUT, doesn't matter. And now the path is going to be where you've saved it. So now you click on the button here to browse. So yours will show up automatically on the folder, on the correct folder. And then you pick the LUT you just made, select it, open, and voila. Now your image on your video looks a lot better because you color corrected it yourself. And you have a much better reproduction of colors, and you can use your real life reference to see how good it looks on your screen. And that's how you make sure that your image looks nice and your colors look better than before, because before it just looks very washed out and pale. That's not how it looks. It looks a lot more like this, the vivid yellows and the purples and the blue colors. Then the black is really like black, not a gray, and you have white. So that's why this is good to have a white piece of paper on your shot, so you can use it for your white balance, and then everything looks more natural. So once it's done, you click on close, And that's it. That's all you have to do for your stream. If you have another camera that you want to use for your face, if you want to show your face, and you just kind of add it again here, it doesn't show up because my other OBS is already claiming it, so it doesn't show up. But the point is that you can just add another camera source. It'll show up here. You can resize it however you want, and you can put it however you like. You know, mine is usually sitting up here, and then the stream's over here. But that's all you need to know. As far as like what panels you should have on your OBS, just have whatever you think it's comfortable for you. The way that I would probably edit this right now, it would be to take this and put it on top of the transition, because I don't care about transition, so I can just hide it. I would make this smaller, this one smaller. I would take the audio mixer and put it up top, and then the chat, put it down here. So I can move this, put it here. And then I can make this wider, right? Or if you want to, because if you don't have another way to reach chat, this is kind of tiny. So you can move this down here, then move this over here, you know. So I have the controls, this and this. And then you can move this to the side. Oh, full height dock. So you go to docks here on the top, and you put full height docks, and then boom, this one becomes longer. This one is longer too, but you can just put shit underneath it, and it goes back up. And then you have your stream information. You have a chat window with your events. These are called events. And then you can just worry about your chat here. And this buttons, they don't have to be that big, so you can just move them around. You know, just make it comfortable for you. There's no right or wrong way to do it. The only thing that I would recommend is not to have viewer count anywhere in your OBS screen, because that will eventually, it can get into your head. And when you're streaming, you should always put your best effort, whether you have one person or 100 person, because that one person deserves the same amount of energy that you would give to 100 people. So never worry about the viewer count anywhere. Just stream because you have fun with it, and make sure that you treat everybody in the same manner. So if you're like, hey, how's it going, Joe? Then hey, how's it going, Marie? Whatever, doesn't matter. But always treat everybody with the same level of energy, because if you don't, they'll notice and then they'll leave. So make sure to always be cautious of that, and make sure that everybody feels the same amount of love, if you will, than anybody else. And that's how I would set it up for myself. Over here in the bottom, you have the frames per second. 30 frames per second for art, more than enough. Again, the frames per second would be like, so that things don't look blurry when they move, but we're either drawing, painting, you know, or sculpting, whatever you're gonna do, it's not fast, so it doesn't matter. The CPU usage is just how taxing the stream is going to be for your computer. This one is when you're recording. When you start streaming, it'll just show you your connection. This one will be green, yellow, or red, and it'll give you like frames dropped. If you're dropping too many frames, it'll be stuttery for people. But again, you don't have to worry about that. And then when you're ready to stream, you just hit start streaming, and you'll go live. But remember to go here first into your intro, then go live. You'll also mute it. That way you can talk when you're in the beginning of your stream. So intro, then go and make sure that your mic is muted. Go live, start streaming. Once you start streaming, it'll tell you here when the ads are going to be done. Once the ads are done, you can either go directly to your art scene, or if you want to have like a couple of more minutes, whatever, and then you click on the art scene and it'll switch over, unmute yourself, and then ta-da, good to go. What up guys, how's it going? And that's it. That's all you need to know for streaming on Twitch. Very similar to how you would do it for YouTube, or if you use restream.io to stream to both Twitch and YouTube. Very similar. The only thing that changes is that you would have to log into the correct service here. One other thing that would change is that if you go to like either restream.io or YouTube, you'll get different panels auto-generated for you, but that's the only thing that you have to worry about. Yeah, there's other stuff that you can worry about later, but this is about it. This is the basics that you need to know to get streaming. Just make sure that your microphone doesn't peak, and by peaking I mean it doesn't go into the red, because that means you're gonna hurt people's ears. And you can adjust that here if you want to There's ways to prevent that, but if you want me to do a video on that, I can do a video on that later, but this is already long enough. So this is it. This is how you set it up. I hope it was helpful to anybody, to you guys. Again, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. Every link that I mentioned is on the description. And yeah, that would be it for me. I'll see you next week with some other dope video. Thank you for being here. Remember to stream that like button, subscribe if you like what I do, and I'll see you next week. Peace.